Of the Electoral Chief Justice Paul Bafoboni has determined that there is no prima facie case to warrant further investigations into petitions seeking the removal of the Electoral Commissioner, her deputies, and the Special Prosecutor. According to a statement issued by the Presidency earlier today, President John Dramani Mahama referred 7 petitions calling for the removal of the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, and her deputies, as well as 3 separate petitions seeking the removal of the Special Prosecutor to the Chief Justice for a determination. The referral was made in accordance with Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution and Section 15 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act to ascertain whether the petitions disclose a prima facie case. The petitions were referred to the Chief Justice on November 25, 2025. But after reviewing the petitions, the Chief Justice determined that no prima facie case existed to justify further investigation or the establishment of a formal inquiry committee. This constitutional threshold must be met before a 5-member tribunal can be constituted to investigate allegations of stated misbehavior, incompetence, or incapacity, the only grounds on which such office holders can be removed. Ibrahim Alasan is our head of political desk here at AIB Network and joins me for a further conversation on this very new development. Ibrahim, many thanks for joining us. For our viewers, essentially, what does this mean?
Well, so Madam Jean Adukwe Mensah remains the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. Her 2 deputies who were named in the petitions also remain in office. Now, Kisie Jabin, the special prosecutor, equally remains the special prosecutor until otherwise determined. And what do I mean by otherwise determined? It will have to take some other petitions as well, forwarded to the President according to Article 146. The President then ferries the petitions again to the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice then peruses the petition to make a determination as to whether there are merits in the petitions. In this case, the Chief Justice has determined that all the petitions, in fact, 10 petitions were ferried to the Chief Justice. Right. 3 against the Special Prosecutor, Kisie Jabin, 7 against the EC chairperson and her 2 deputies. After going through, and mind you, this was not done by any committee. Right. Per Article 146, this is the work reserved for the Chief Justice. And so after the Chief Justice perused these petitions and match them against the allegations of bias, incompetence, gross incompetence, and many others. In fact, specifically on the EC, the petitions came from 7 individuals, as I mentioned, including a former staff, a former worker of the Electoral Commission, right, equally petitioned and alleged bias, gross incompetence, among many other claims. The Chief Justice then matched these claims against the evidence adduced in the petition and came to the firm conclusion that it doesn't warrant any further action. I'll come and explain what the further action will have meant. It means that the Chief Justice says Jean Mensah and Kisie Jabin, together with Jean Mensah's other 2 deputies, have no further questions to answer in person. And so the conclusion is that there is no prima facie case against the individuals cited in the petitions. So that will be the recommendation from the Chief Justice to the President.
For the layman listening, we're hearing in the statement, we read a lot of prima facie. What do we mean?
So first of all, allegations were made against these individuals, 4 of them to be specific. Jean Mensah, her 2 deputies, and Kisie Jabin. Now, the Chief Justice looked at the allegations made against them and then matched them against the evidence cited in the petitions. And so he came to their firm conclusion that unlike Araba Esaba Tokono, in whose case the Council of State found prima facie case against her, which then meant that she had questions to answer. So prima facie simply means that based on claims made against you, right, and looking at the face value of the evidence sent through the petition, we think you should answer further questions. Fortunately for these 4 individuals, the Chief Justice says there's no need for them to answer any further question because the claims hold no value.
Right.
Now, if the Chief Justice had determined otherwise, then per Article 146, the Chief Justice will have had to set up a committee. And the committee will have invited these individuals for them to appear physically, in person, to answer questions. After that, a recommendation will be made. And once the recommendation is ferried to the president will have to implement the recommendation. This happened to Charlotte Osei, where the recommendation was for her removal, and President Akufo-Addo went ahead to remove Charlotte Osei as chairperson of the Electoral Commission. I've been reading around, many people saying that it's the president that has dismissed the petition. Yes, but it's based on the advice of the Chief Justice, who says there are no further questions to be answered.
And that brings me to my very last question. Does this end the matter?
Yes, it does. Unless another person, another group of people, or another entity decides to send petitions to the president against these same individuals under Article 146. For now, they have been given clean bill of health to continue to discharge their constitutional duties.
Good news for the Electoral Commission chair and also the special prosecutor.
Yes.
As always, grateful that you could join us in studio. That was our head of political desk, Ibrahim Alassane, giving us a breakdown of the news that just came in, that the Chief Justice has dismissed the petitions that were presented to him against the EC chair and the special prosecutor. Let's move on and do some other stories, as the Ghana Police Service has apprehended a woman over the alleged theft of a newborn baby from the Mamprobi Polyclinic in Accra, with the baby successfully rescued. The incident reportedly took place on February 17, 2026, shortly after the child's mother had delivered through a cesarean section. The newborn was allegedly taken from the facility, causing alarm among healthcare workers and the patients. Surveillance footage from the clinic showed that the suspect carrying the baby and exiting the premises. The video has since been widely shared on social media. Now, the video that was recorded, earlier this morning, the Minister for Gender and Social Protection says the infant. I beg your pardon. The Minister for Gender and Social Protection has been speaking to my colleague Evelyn Araba Edu. Let's listen to that.
We found the baby. We want to say a big thank you to the whistleblower. We also want to say a big thank you to the police that they've been able to work to get the baby reconciled to the mother, or united with the mother. Today, as we speak this morning, the police can attest that, yes, that is the baby. The parents have confirmed, and then the suspect is in the custody of the police. I want to thank my colleagues in Parliament, Honorable Oko Vandakoy, and then Reverend Kweku Ado, for their cooperation. When I called them early this morning, they've all been here and they've been on the case as well, and we've been able to make an inroad into the case, and we are going to follow to make sure that baby, mother, and then everybody is safe. And then the suspects as well also need some interrogation and then some support, and our social workers will also be on the case to make sure that we minimize or completely get rid of such baby cases or incidents in the hospitals. So this is where we are. The baby and the mother have been taken for medical attention, and so we'll follow up and see what happens next. Thank you.
This certainly generated a lot of conversation on social media. Nana Ama Akwa is on standby to bring us your thoughts and comments on this.
Well, Nadima, I don't know if you can say it's brought finality to a very terrible situation, but at least some good news has come out of it. We hear from Kojoteria, but how could the staff be so careless? We thank God. Then Enoch says this is not the only good news. Ghana Police Service need to investigate and arrest the rest, because I don't think it's only the woman who planned it. Okay, then we move over to Facebook. Ekia, if I tell you I slept last night here, then I'm lying. My dream is as if the baby was mine. I mean, if you're a woman well, Archibald says it's glorious. God bless all who helped bring the boy back to his parents. Justice says not only the woman must be held accountable, but the staff on duty as well. We also have Eva Erabana. We thank God the baby is found, but they should run tests and examine the baby very well before they hand it over to the family, because we don't know what she did to the baby overnight before bringing him back. Adam Mohammed, wow, IGP, your guys are working like magic. We also have Aguaji. My concern is about those involved in the crime. Dente says all the nurses on duty must be sacked. You also have Jacobs. You go to hospital and you see nurses using phones around just like that. Hetty says very good. Social media is very powerful, which it is indeed. Some people's own lost like that.